Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to do this like really beautiful cut crease. And first I'm going to start by priming my face, same way I always do. And I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer in the mattifying one. I love this primer. I always find myself reaching for it. It just has like a really nice kind of like tacky texture to it, which is good for somebody like me whose makeup can kind of like slip during the day because I'm so oily. One tip though is definitely let it dry really well before you go ahead and put your foundation on, because it can kind of be blotchy if you don't do that. It'll like stick to certain parts and you know, look kind of crazy. So I am using the Makeup Forever HD Stick Foundation. Love this stuff. Have a hard time using creamier products, but this is no problem for me. It's just really radiant and gives you like a really nice glow and makes your skin look really healthy. So I'm just using a damp beauty blender, and I'm just going to go in and really press that into the skin, get it into all the little nooks and crevices and all my pores, and just make sure that it's really on there and that I'm not like, you know, swiping it on the top of my skin too much. Now once that's done, I'm just going to use a little bit of Max Fix Plus on my beauty blender and just slightly go around and just really lightly like tap on the top of my skin. This will just help pick up any excess product and just give you a really nice like luminosity to your skin. It just looks really healthy and glowy. So now I'm going to go in with Anastasia's Clear Brow Gel, and I am just going to set my arc, and I've been doing this using the Clear Brow Gel both before I fill in my brows and after recently, and I just find that it makes my brow wiz stay really well and not like slip around or anything, and it's just way easier to fill in my brows that way. So now I'm just using MAC's Paint Pot and Painterly and priming my eyes. This is my favorite way to prime my eyes because it gives you a lot of good coverage, and you know, kind of like cancels out any redness, covers up any veins, and it just gives you a really smooth like surface to do your eyeshadow look. Having said that though, you definitely, because it's a cream product, you definitely need to go in and set it. So we're going to be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette today for this eye look. So I just used a big shader brush and just picked up a shade called Lattus. It's just kind of like a white, like really neutral basic shade, and I just set everywhere from lid to under the brow bone. Then I just filled in my brows using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Taupe, same way I always do. I edited it out because it's very boring and very time consuming. So now we're going to start with the eye look, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up a Morphe diffused shader brush, blending brush I should say, and we're going to pick up a shade called Ludwin. It's a really light warm brown transition shade, and we're going to pop that in the upper crease, focusing it mainly on the outer part of your eye, and kind of winging it out in a cat eye shape. And we're just going to do windshield wiper motions back and forth, and then little circular motions to buff out any harsh lines. So now we're going to take on a Sigma E35 that really neutral light brown shade. It's called Samael. It's a lot of weird names in this palette. I'll link them. I'll post them all down below in the description box. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean my head backwards so that I can see where my socket is. And I am just going to run this right in my socket line, because when you're doing a cut crease, you don't want to actually put the shadows where your actual crease is, like where your lid, you know, folds when you have your eyes open. You want to follow your socket line to recreate it and make it look like you have a bigger lid space and more space in general on your eyes. So now I'm taking a smudging brush and I am just putting like a straight angled line on the outer corner of that socket. And this is just going to be like a guideline. We're going to blend this out. It looks crazy when you first do it, obviously, because it's a really harsh line, but it's just more of like a guideline, and then we'll blend it out from there. Yeah, crazy looking. So now I'm just going to take like a small dome-shaped brush with no product on it and just kind of start blending that out so it's not so harsh, and I will just work it back and forth. Don't bring it in too far. You really want that shade to be mostly on the outer corner. And the name of that shade too is called Solas. I don't think I mentioned that, but it's just like a dark kind of warm brown. You can see it looks much better already, just being a little bit more diffused and winging it out. So now I'm just taking a bigger pencil brush and I'm picking up more of that Solas color and just reapplying it, because you definitely buff some of it away, and you do want it to be very defined. It's kind of the point of a cut crease. So just work very slowly and just kind of layer. It's a lot easier to put more product on if there's not enough than it is to take it off if you put too much. So now I'm just taking a MAC 217 and I picked up more of that Samael color and I'm just buffing it out. This look is very tedious. It's probably not for beginners. It did take a while. I edited a lot out and it's still very long. It's a lot of like layering, blending, layering, blending, layering, blending, kind of back and forth until you have your desired depth. So now I am just picking up my paint pot one more time, and I'm going to go in and really, really define my lid space. And when you're doing a cut crease, to create the illusion of a bigger lid, you do not want to like stop where your lid folds. You want to bring it slightly above so that when your eyes are open, you can still see some of the lighter shade that's on your lid, or some of your lid shade. Again, that gives the illusion that your lid space is bigger. So once I have really like cut that lid area out and like really defined where I want my lid to be, I just picked up a really stark white shade from the palette, and it's called Liberatus. It's a very, very bright white. And I just used a MAC 242, which is like my favorite shader brush in the world, and really, really, really packed that onto my lid space. So now is the time where we're just going to pick up our gel liner, and we are going to create our wing. Now, with this, I'm definitely a less is more kind of person, because I can tend to get really out of hand with a wing. So I just kind of really, really started it slow here and kind of just really went along the base of my lash line and then built it up from there, because I just noticed that personally I can make like a huge wing really quickly, and I don't want to do that specifically with this look because it kind of is counterproductive to what you're trying to do with a cut crease. You want it to look like you have more eye space and more lid space, and if you make your wing way too big, it's going to take away from that. So now is the fun part. I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Color in Sunset. It's a really pretty warm pink color, and I am going to place that right above where we made our black wing, so it's kind of like a double wing. Now, in retrospect, looking back, it probably would have been a hell of a lot smarter if I had done a thicker pink wing first and then gone back in afterwards and done the thinner black wing, because it's a lot easier to cover the pink with the black than it is to try to not accidentally get some of that black in the pink, which is what ended up happening. Even if you're really neat and tidy about it, like I was, and went slow, it's still kind of impossible to not get it to smudge a little bit. So to fix that, I just cleaned up my black liner, which I cut out. I just kind of like went over it again. And I picked up this Makeup Geek shadow called Simply Marlena. It's just a really like bright, hot pink color, and I just pressed it into the liner just to make it more vibrant and to kind of help clean up any of like the smudgy black that was in it. And it worked out really well. You wouldn't be able to tell that it was ever smudged, so So now, once that part is done, this is like a major, major, major step in a cut crease. Take that dark Solas color one more time in another flat like shading brush and draw that line one more time. And this is going to be a very important step because you're gonna start that line where the end of your wing is, and that really is going to give that illusion of a crease, as you can see there. So then I just took like a little pencil brush and just kind of wiggled it on there very, very gently. I don't want to get rid of that line. I actually want there to be kind of a harsh, like defined line there, but I also don't want it to be like jaggedy and unblended. So just, you know, very lightly just go in and kind of wiggle it around there and make it look a little bit more precise. So then I just took another little shader brush and picked up the shade Latinus, which is just like a highlighting shade from the palette. And then I took my MAC 217 and put no additional product on it and just kind of buffed everything in together so that I don't have any harsh lines, and just went over everything one more time. So now both eyes are done. I did the other one off camera so that it wasn't like an insanely long video. And now I'm just taking Urban Decay's Naked Weightless Concealer, applying that in a triangle shape, upside down triangle shape underneath my eyes, down both sides of my nose, around the sides of my nostrils where women get a lot of redness from hormones, your chin, your forehead, and then down the center of my nose. And then, as always, I am just going to take my damp beauty blender and just bounce that on my skin, into my skin, and buff it all out. So now I'm going to take MAC's Pro Emphasize Shaping Powder. It's a very, very bright white, like highlighting shade for under the eyes. So I'm just going to take that on a Kat Von D brush and just bounce that onto my skin and just set everything so I don't get any kind of crazy creasing under my eye. And I'm just going to place that everywhere that I put my concealer down. So all the places on your face that you would want to highlight, so all the high points. This is, like I said, a very, very bright setting powder, so you probably don't want to like go heavy on it all over your skin, but I will take whatever was left on the brush, no additional product, and just kind of quickly go over the outer parts of my face, just so that like my contour and my bronzer is easier to apply. So speaking of bronzer, now I'm going to pick up a MAC pressed powder. I forget the name of it. I will put it down below in the description box. And a big fluffy It Cosmetics blush brush. It's just like an angled brush that I use for blush and for bronzing. I'm sorry, not contouring, bronzing. So with bronzing, it's really just kind of warming up the skin. It's not insanely precise. It's basically just all the areas that if you had a natural tan would be tanned. So kind of like the outsides of your face, your nose. It's really just about adding some warmth. Whereas contouring is in very specific areas depending on your shape face and depending on what you're trying to play up. And you also use much smaller brushes that are a lot more precise to do that. So that's really the big difference. Also, with bronzer, you can use a shimmery bronzer if you want to, whereas contouring, you should use a matte shade. You should not use anything shimmery. So I'm sorry I started holding my products up wicked high. I don't know why I started doing that. But what I just showed you guys there was a new Laura Geller bronzer. It's a matte bronzer though, so I used it for contouring that I picked up the other day, and I am like obsessed with it. I probably won't use anything else for like a hot minute because it's like a beautiful, beautiful contouring shade for people who are like cool toned or neutral. So I'm just like obsessing over it lately. But I'm just going in and contouring per usual, you know, under the hollows of my cheeks, either side of my forehead, and then under my chin. I didn't do a nose contour today because I've kind of just been like whatever about nose contours lately. It's just kind of tedious. So just make sure that you buff that going back. Don't bring it like low. Don't drag it down like towards your mouth. That'll kind of defeat the entire purpose. But just make sure you blend it up really nicely. So now I'm going to take a Morphe brush, and it's just like an angled powder brush, and I'm going to pick up my Laura Mercier translucent powder. And I'm just going to do a little bit of baking just right under my my Geek contour. just to kind of help clean that up. I didn't put it like really anywhere else. It was just under my my cheek contour, really. And this just really, again, just kind of helps clean everything up, makes it look really precise and very flawless. So I'll take whatever is left on the brush and just, again, press that into all the high points of my face and just clean up. And while that's setting there, I'm going to go back in again with my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel and just set my brows now that they are completely finished. So I'm just going to dust that off. You can use any brush for powder that you have. You don't have to be too picky about that. So now I'm just going to pick up this Urban Decay blush in Video. It's like my favorite blush. It's like a beautiful, warm terracotta color. It's really great for summer because it's very like bronzy and warm. So I'm just applying that to the apples of my cheeks and bringing it back. You don't have to bring it back if you don't want to. You can just put it on the apples of your cheeks, but today I just felt like bringing it back. And once that's done, I am going to pick up Anastasia's new highlighting brush. I think it's called brush number 23 or something like that, and Mary Luminizer by The Balm. Again, sorry for holding it up so high. And I'm just going to hit all the high points of my face, so the tops of my cheekbones, above my brow, Cupid's bow, anywhere that you want the light to catch and make you look really glowy. And then I will also pick up like a more precise, smaller brush. I think this is just like some random eyeshadow brush that I have from Morphe. And I will draw a line right down the center or the bridge of my nose, and this just kind of helps create the illusion, again, that you have a very straight nose. And then I took whatever was left on the brush and just popped it in the inner corner of my eye. So now I'm just curling my lashes, and I'm going to go in with some mascara. This is Benefit's They Are Real mascara. Totally bomb. Never loved a mascara before, but I love this mascara. And now we're going to work on our lower lash line just to finish up the eye look. And I am taking that dark brown Solas shade one more time on a flat definer brush and just running it very tight along the outer part of my lash line, stopping where my pupils would be if I was looking forward. So about halfway in. And then I'm taking a pointed pencil brush and picking up that Samael color. That was like the neutral transition shade that we used, and bringing that color in to the rest of my eyes, like where, you know, into my tear duct area. And then I took a really diffused pencil brush and picked up that Ludwin shade. That was like the light warm brown that we first put down on our eyes up in the upper crease, and just buff that all out. So anytime I do a winged liner with gel, I will always pick up a liquid like liner pen afterwards, and this is Kat Von D's liquid liner pen, and I'll just run over it. So once that's done, I am just going to go in and, well, actually, I realized I almost put on my mascara before I put on my liner, so I had like a quick moment there where I was like, oh no, and I picked up the ColourPop cream liner in, I believe it's called Exit. It's a really stark white, but I love their cream liners. They're awesome. They stay in my waterline all day and don't move, and they're only like $5 or $6, so yay for that. And then I'm going to go in and coat my bottom lashes. So now the eyes are done, and I'm just picking up these two Anastasia lip glosses. One of them, the first one is called Dainty. It's like a warmish nude pink, and then the second shade is called Pastel Pink. It is a true cool tone, like Barbie pink. So I didn't want to go like on either end of the spectrum too crazy, so I just mixed them together. And then once I finished that, All I did was just add some lashes and put some setting spray on. I used Lily Lashes in Luxe and Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray, and that was it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and have a great day, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.